People around the world are leaving quiet farming towns for booming cities, and experts say this is happening faster than at any time in history. The areas are called megacities. Megacities have a population of at least 10 million people, and right now there are 36 of them. They include New York, Tokyo, and 3 in China. By the year 2030, there will be about 50 megacities. For more on the worldwide growth, I spoke to Janice Perlman. She's an author and founder of Megacities Project, and I asked her if she's surprised by China's urbanization.
It was obvious that the places in the world that were less urbanized were going to have a huge urban explosion. And that started in Latin America, where I did my original research, which was in Brazil, and where the urbanization started right after World War II, with masses of people coming from the countryside, rural areas to the big cities, especially to Rio de Janeiro. And as you've seen now in the press, they settled in favelas, which are squatter settlements. And now these favelas in Rio alone house almost 2 million people, I would say, and around the world it's 1 billion. There are 1 billion people today living in squatter settlements, self-built communities, all over the cities of Asia, Africa, and Latin America, and that billion will be growing to 2 billion by 2030 and to 3 billion by 2050. So about 1 in every 3 people on the planet will be living off the grid of social services and infrastructure.
It does pose some very significant challenges to these cities and the city planners and the infrastructure and all the social responsibilities that take place. In your view, what are the top 3 challenges these cities, these new cities, if you will, have to face?
I would say that their biggest challenge is how to incorporate the new migrants that will be coming in. And this is especially true in China, where they are now debating whether to relax the registration requirements for coming to be an urban citizen and getting into urban education, healthcare, and jobs. But as you just said, as much as the cities that are growing fast are benefiting the number of jobs in each country, the incomes in each country, the number of people who are getting education and healthcare access, they're also really having trouble in these cities incorporating and including the lowest income population, this migrant population, who are often stigmatized terribly and discriminated against. And I think the biggest challenge is how to make that transition a smooth one so that you get the benefit of the productive capacity of this population, the consumer capacity, the citizenship capacity, but most important to me, of the intellectual capital of these people, because we need their smarts to solve the urban problems. And right now, they're kind of being ignored as a kind of inconvenient sort of human garbage. So if they are not included, you will get rise in crime, you'll get terrible pollution and environmental degradation if they're not connected to the sewer systems, if they can't afford clean fuels to cook and heat, to serve from there.
Ultimately pays for it, and what does the solution, or is it a private and government solution?
Well, I think it's a solution for a collaboration between the people in their communities who right now are paying quite a bit. They often pay for private education because the public schools near them are not good enough for the kids to get into universities, and there's more and more of a recognition that young people have to get university education to get the best jobs. They certainly have to pay more for their water and their cooking gas and every other thing that's provided to the rest of the city for free. And they can't even get health care in most places. So I think they have to be involved. Certainly the local governments have to be involved. I think absolutely local business, and we've seen some very good examples of electricity companies expanding their profits and their margins of productivity hugely by incorporating this perhaps 40% of the population of cities that are now not served or getting their electricity illegally, siphoning it off. And I think it's a priority that has to be made at the national government level as well. And the international agencies are also helping on this.